Hi. Come on in. I'll be with you in just a second. Hi. I'm fine. How are you? Great. Great. I had a great week. Thank you. How was yours? Good. Good. Mm-hmm. Well, great. I'm glad to hear that. Okay, well, I was going over some notes of last week, and I believe we had a writing assignment, didn't we? How'd you do on that? Mm-hmm. Well, I'm very pleased that you did write that letter to your father. I know it was very hard for you. I know it's very painful. Mm-hmm. Well, why don't you talk more about that, okay? Mm-hmm. Well, no, I don't. You don't need to. If you wish, if you want to read it to me, sure. I think you've talked about almost everything that you put in that letter in here, haven't you? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, that's a very good point, and I'm glad you brought that up. I um, I would advise you not to send the letter. Well, I think you have to think about the last time you confronted your father about your feelings. And, it was in a letter, remember? And remember his reaction? It just wasn't beneficial. I know you're angry. I know you're very angry. And that's what we're going to work on in here. We're going to help you get through this anger. I think at this point in your life that your father is never going to change. Your father was a very dysfunctional parent. And he is still. He wasn't a father to you growing up, and he isn't now. I mean, he's your father, but he's not going to act the way you want him to. And I think the sooner you accept this, the sooner you're going to be able to accept your father and build a relationship. Right. Everyone has different relationships. You will just have a different relationship, a different kind of relationship. It can be a special relationship. That's a good point. Why don't you talk more about that? Could you? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think so. I think that's very good. Now, I want you to think back, as far back as you can, when you had these first feelings of abandonment. Can you recall what maybe your first, when you might have had this feeling? Well, that's highly unlikely that you remembered being left at the hospital at 6 months old. I mean, I suppose that could be some kind of subliminal memory, or deep-rooted, or it's highly impossible. I would suggest that that memory came from your mother telling you that story. But there is the theory that it could very much affect you. I'm not dispelling that at all. But in any case, I'm sorry, I think our time is up right now. I'm really glad you wrote that letter. Okay, let's hold on to it and talk about that more next week. That's fine. Just put the check over there. Okay. Okay. Well, you too. Thank you. Bye-bye.